Hi, I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. Today, I want to show you a couple of great products for removing old adhesive. Hey, welcome back to the garage. If this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. Now, dealing with old stuck-on adhesive is something that all of us have to deal with. Usually it's when you buy something new and there's these various stickers of product feature stuff, you try to pull them off and they leave behind gobs of old glue on there. I don't know why they can't use glue that comes off easily. It just seems, I don't know, maybe easy remove glue is way more expensive, but regardless, it's a real pain in the neck. There's a variety of ways to deal with this old glue. Now, one is, of course, to use a product like Goo Gone, which seems to be pretty popular. Now, in my experience, though, Goo Gone is not all that great, and I'm going to show you something that works just as well or even better and is way less expensive. Another way to deal with it is with something like acetone. The problem with acetone is that it's very aggressive and it does things like remove paint. And so if you're trying to remove some kind of a decal or adhesive from a painted surface, there's a quite a good chance that you're going to get rid of the glue and the paint along with it. And that's not a good thing. So I got a couple of different products for you today. One is a common product that you probably already have in your house that surprisingly also does a good job of removing adhesives. It's also just as effective or more so than something like Goo Gone, and yet it's way less expensive. And like I said, you probably already have it in your house. Now, the other thing is something that deals better with more aggressive adhesives or adhesives that don't succumb to the charms of our first product, but still don't damage the underlying surface. It's perfectly safe, for instance, to use on car paint. And we'll get to that in the second part of the video. The first thing I've got that we're going to try and deal with here is some residue, some adhesive left over from a sponsor decal that I had on the fender here. And that sponsor would be Flat Six Motorsports. They've been so good to this channel. And besides that, they're just a fantastic company to work with. If you need anything to do with any kind of a part for a late model Porsche, whether it's performance or appearance or just anything, Flat Six Motorsports, John at Flat Six Motorsports is super knowledgeable. He knows just about anything to do with any type of a late model Porsche, and he has a ton of parts in stock and stuff that he can also get to help you out with all your needs. Check him out. It's Flat Six Motorsports, a great little company, family-owned company, small business here in Florida. Flat6motorsports.com. If you don't feel like typing, I'll put a link down in the video description below. Check them out. So we are redoing all the livery or all the decals and everything here on the Cayman for the new season of HPDE that I'm going to be doing, my second season. And a lot of the decals have left behind chunks of adhesive. We're also going to be removing the paint protection film from various parts of the car and dealing with the leftover adhesive on those. But what we've got here is just where the Flat Six Motorsports sticker was, or the decal was, and it mostly came off. There's just some chunks left on here, and we're going to try out two different products. As I mentioned, our first product is one you probably have around the house already, and that is WD-40. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, wait a minute, now WD-40, that's a lubricant. It's not some kind of a cleaner, but actually that's a mistaken notion. WD-40 is not designed to be a lubricant. It has an ingredient or two that are kind of slippery and they do leave a slightly oily finish, but actually WD-40 is a terrible lubricant. You would never want to actually lubricate anything with it. It is designed to loosen up stuck things by acting as a penetrating solvent. That's right. It's a solvent, not a lubricant, and it actually works really well on old adhesive. It also works really well on something called cosmoline. And if you've ever bought a new piece of equipment like a table saw or a metalworking mill, you know the horrors of cleaning cosmoline. It's a thick, gooey coating that goes on the ground cast iron parts, and it is almost legendary in its resistance to cleaning. However, if you next time you get a piece of equipment that has cosmoline all over it, hit it with some WD-40. I swear, it will literally just melt it away. It just is gone. You will try it out. You'll thank me. But today we're trying it out on adhesive, and it is actually a very good, very mild solvent that deals very well with leftover adhesive. So I'm just going to spray a little WD-40 on here and then work on it with a paper towel. Just spray a little on there. Rub on it a little bit. You can see it's starting to disappear. And all that old nasty adhesive is gone. Now, this is the one problem with using WD-40 is that it does leave this little bit of oily film on here. And then to deal with that, you just a little bit of glass cleaner, or you could wash with some soap and water and a paper towel. And voila, perfect. Actually, we have a little bit of right there that we didn't get. Just a bit more WD-40. It with some window cleaner or whatever again. And there we go. Glue and oily residue all gone. The other product I want to introduce you to is 3M General Purpose Adhesive Cleaner. This stuff is fantastic. Now, it's more effective than WD-40, but it's not as pleasant to work with. It has a much stronger odor. It's more like nail polish remover, although it won't damage painted surfaces the way nail polish remover would. Now, this container also is kind of a pain. It's hard to seal up, and when it does seal, it tends to jam. You got to use a pair of pliers to open it. So what I do instead is I put it into one of these spray bottles that I absolutely love. It's a continuous spray bottle. You pump on it several times and then it continues to spray, or you just spray it, or you can just pump it once to get a quick spray of something. These things are fantastic. As with all this stuff, I'll give you links down in the video description below. But definitely don't try and use it out of the can like this. Move it over to a bottle or something else, because this can just sucks. Also, when dealing with more difficult adhesives, not only do you want to switch over to using the 3M adhesive remover, you might need a little tool to help you scrape off the thicker deposits of adhesive. And you want to be careful because you don't want to scratch up the surface that you're removing the adhesive from. And I found that these little detail squeegees are fantastic. They're not designed as scrapers, but they work really well because they're a soft plastic. They won't mar anything, but they have a relatively sharp edge on them, and they work super well. Now this particular one is from Vivid Vinyl. I've seen a boatload of them around. I'm sure that you just buy them off of Alibaba by the boatload, literally, and they'll just stamp whatever name you want into it. I'll give you a link to this particular one down in the video description below so you can just buy the exact one I like to use off of Amazon. So let's try out the 3M adhesive remover. Just going to spray some on, be generous with it, and just, with the paper towel again, work it around. You can see, whew, it comes off even faster and easier than the WD-40 worked. And one thing about this 3M adhesive remover, it seems to really do a nice job on paint. I think it actually removes maybe an upper layer of grime, and maybe a bit of oxidized, or it pulls off old wax or whatever. And usually I find that contrary to the idea that it might harm the paint something, it actually makes the paint look better. It comes out much glossier and shinier, and really like the way that it ends up looking. So yeah, super simple. Let's go try this out on something a little more difficult. Now, this is what I affectionately refer to as the adhesive from hell. This is paint protection film residue. I peeled the paint protection film off the front of the Cayman, and some PPF comes off very cleanly. In fact, you can even see some areas here where the PPF came off and didn't leave residue. However, in my experience, this happens far more often than that happens, so I wouldn't count on it very much. However, as you can see over here, it cleans up beautifully by using the 3M adhesive remover. Now, WD-40 won't touch this stuff, and I'm pretty sure Goo Gone, I'm certain Goo Gone wouldn't. This stuff would just laugh at Goo Gone. But the adhesive remover, 3M adhesive remover, let me show you how well it works. Spray it on generously. And then we'll just kind of use our paper towel, sort of work it in. And it starts removing it, but as you can see, this stuff is pretty thick. So we'll hit it with some more. And this is where we use our little detail squeegee. You can see it just starts taking it right off. Now, one thing to be aware of is over time, this edge of this detail squeegee can kind of roll over and forming almost like a burr on the back, which means it's no longer sharp. Just take a sharp X-Acto knife and just scrape it like this back away from the edge, and it will remove that burr and restore it to its original sharpness. There you go. Two products that are going to make your life so much easier in dealing with these nasty leftover adhesives. Now, before you leave, go down there, smash that thumbs up button, give this video a like, let YouTube know that you enjoyed it and you found it valuable. Really, really helps me with growing the channel. And also, while you're down there, check out that big red shiny subscribe button. If it's red, that means you're not one of my subscribers, and I would truly appreciate you becoming a subscriber. That also helps a lot with growing the channel and getting YouTube to suggest my content more. And finally, if you want to keep up with a bunch of other tips that I give out here on the channel, in addition to all the special stuff I'm doing with my Porsche as a track car, go click on that bell icon. That turns on notifications for this channel, and that way YouTube will let you know every time that I post something new from here in Cliff's Garage. I'll see you next time.